top left corner, as in so it doesn't disturb you guys anymore. So I can't see you. If there's anything, just speak up, please. Yeah, as Bada was already mentioning, he attended luckily a few weeks ago the conference in Abu Dhabi, which I was also a organizer. So I've been involved with that conference for a year and a half, and I was also invited to be on a panel. And that was actually about getting more diverse teams. And we, of course, had a very diverse team on the stage, but yeah. And that's how I'm here today. So this presentation is actually one that I did 3 years ago. But I realized that it's still current, and that's why I thought I don't need to update that much. So I will show that to you. So this is from that panel. The panel was called, I just looked it up again, Cultivating Diversity of Talent, Empowering the Next Generation and Women in Health and Safety for Industry Success. And it was really nice to hear the different aspects of us. Oh, I have a box. Oh, this is if you see little boxes, that's simply when somebody pops in. So just ignore the boxes. Yeah, obviously when I was asked, I was happy to accept, because I think that there's always a way forward. If you can see what is there, then you can also more realize it and internalize it, that you can see more of this. At the moment, I'm working for Boskalis, which is originally a Dutch company, dredging company. I'm in the dredging pool. This year, I was mainly in Singapore for work, helping with repairs in dry docks, etc. However, I'm originally a drilling engineer, so that's why, like was said before, I also work, for example, for Schlumberger as a wireline field engineer. But yeah, so I do volunteer quite a bit, so I'm also happy to share my story if it helps to inspire others. I'm currently the vice chair of the IOSH offshore group. I'm a committee member of the Human Factors Technical section of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, and I'm also at the moment not so active, but in general active Rotarian as well. So volunteering has been with me for a long time. That's why I'm also happy to see all of the stuff that you guys are doing, because I heard about the ASSP, but didn't see so much. So it's really nice to see that. I'm also a avid sailor, and I actually did quite a big crossing last year. So it's always good to see, again, if we're talking about women in the industry, you don't know what you don't know about the other people. We're just making assumptions sometimes based on what we see in that picture. If you look at the right side or the middle bottom, oh, she has a nice dress, but hey, I can also wear the coverall just as above and be doing hard work on a boat. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is just a little bit of education. Obviously, it was mentioned in the bio, but still, the work experience, how I got there. Under the 3 topics of dreaming big, the path is the goal, and when things don't go your way, because that, of course, happens in life too. And then finally end with personal recommendations. So hopefully you can take away whatever you take away from it, positive or negative, or hey, this is something maybe I should tell somebody else about, and you do with it what you want to. So like we said, I'm a petroleum or a drilling engineer. I study in Germany, in Freiberg. That was originally not the plan, but I will get to that in a little bit. While I was studying, I also did the mining apprenticeship with the Saxonian Mining Authority. So that's a total of 200 shifts underground or in the office or open pit mine. For me, it was mainly underground. Yeah. I did a total of 9 internships while I was studying. I basically used all the opportunities I could to see what I want to do or what I definitely do not want to do, but then at least I get the opportunity to say, nope, this is not for me. And finally, I chose to do my thesis about risk assessment for drilling and workover operations, because I wanted to do something that was going to be useful to other people and not just end up in the bin or in a drawer and not to be used in. Then I started on a graduate program with NGE&P. Nowadays, this is called Neptune Energy. That was in Germany. However, it was supposed to be with also assignments in the sister companies in Europe. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because of the downturn. So there were not that many opportunities for me to travel around. And I guess I was too good at what I was doing, so they wanted to keep me. Then It was a limited time contract, and that's why I then found a new job, started over again as a graduate. If you want, everybody who's worked with Schlumberger knows that you apply to be a field engineer, you have no idea where you end up. I was put back in wireline like I did an internship before, and then I was based in the Netherlands. However, with my European passport, I was a little bit like a lost parcel and sent all across Europe, covering, I think, 10 countries within a year and a half. So yeah, it was exciting, but equally challenging. I decided then, okay, this is good. I love being offshore. That's what I knew. But now I had the confirmation that I was really enjoying offshore life. But I didn't have the possibility to do that as a wireline field engineer in that function. So I thought, okay, what can I do to actually get a job offshore on rotation? And that's where I then left the company, went to the UK to get my NIBOSH national certificate and also the national diploma. And then I started with Aquaterra Energy in the UK just before COVID, so that I was first made redundant. First made put on furlough and then made redundant, obviously due to the crash, oil and gas, we all know it. But that's how I became a CQ engineer with Boskalis, first for 2 years on various projects in France with the dredging division, and now also obviously worldwide. So last year I had a special assignment with the fleet, and this year, like I said, in repairs. Now, how I got there, basically dreaming big. For the following slides, in total my slide deck is very limited. I think we're past half of the slide deck already. But I do like pictures because very often it's easier to associate something with a picture. So I will run through the text, and then I will give you the actual example of how I did it so that you can associate that better. So how I got there is be creative. Just because it's unheard of doesn't mean that it cannot be done. Ask yourself why you want to do something. What are the details that get you excited about whatever it is that you want to do? Find out how you could do it. What are the resources that you need in order to get there? And how do you get those resources? What is it? Is it monetary? Is it connections? Is it a way in? Is it being at a certain spot at a certain time? Accept that there will be challenges and possibly also setbacks. Now the line is currently hiding my text. There we go. These are just opportunities to be even more creative. Just let it out. Think about what else can we do. I think all of us in the room as safety professionals are quite creative because we get challenges every day and we need to find ways how to solve them. And then, of course, get support. You don't need to struggle on your own. Find ways to discuss, to see if what you think is good and the way forward is that what other people say, because maybe other people might have different backgrounds, different learnings that will change the way that you want to approach it. And learn from each other. So in my case, if you ask what I wanted to do when I was a kid, the idea that I had with my sister was I would be the captain of a research vessel, and she would be a a researcher for animals, especially the seals in the sea life, etc. However, that obviously didn't quite work out that way. My dad was an oil and gas. He was a directional driller, and I really liked the way that it was international, it was getting around, etc. So that was something I was like, okay, that's interesting too. Now, why did I think that this was interesting was that it was about the people. Everybody offshore was there for a reason, had a purpose, and was meant to be doing their job. If they weren't performing, you were sent off. And therefore, we all had the same order. People would have the same goal, succeeding. If a cook isn't good offshore, the cook goes home. Of course, in oil and gas, you do have the ability to make money, which is nice. However, compared to, for example, a banker who equally might make money, but the banker never has time to take it and to use it. Whereas if you're working offshore, you do have time afterwards, rotation-wise, leave to also spend the money if you wanted to. Then it was about how. Originally, the idea was to do kind of learning on the job, and then later on maybe do studies. However, that didn't quite work out. And that's why I said, okay, if I have the qualification, well, then nobody can say that I'm not supposed to be there, because clearly I'm qualified if I get the diploma. And that's why I studied drilling engineering. So for that, I moved to Freiberg, which is in the eastern part, so maybe 3 or 4 hours away from where I lived, in Germany still, and I did that. Like I said, I originally did not want to go to university. It was a means to get in, because this way nobody could say I wasn't supposed to be there. And for the support, I definitely checked, for example, also with the guys who were a year above me in uni, to see when I was doing internships, hey, do they also allow women? Are the women actually being able to learn and properly do things, for example, in the mine? Or unfortunately, even in Germany, where I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, but you had Angela Merkel, doesn't mean anything. Some of them were put in a corner in the day, in the morning, and then basically left out of all operations, etc., which is not what I wanted, because if I was going underground and doing an internship, I wanted to properly learn and be at the cold front. Ooh. Now, how I got here. The path is the goal, not only reaching anything, but the path. That's also when you travel. It's not really getting from A to B, but how you get from A to B. That's the most interesting part. If something doesn't go well, don't frustrate, just see how it continues. Find opportunities to expand your horizon. If there aren't any opportunities, get involved and create them. Just because it's not there yet, there isn't an event or a webinar or whatever, why not come up with it? Why not make it happen? To reach the summit, you first need to do a lot of hard work to climb the mountain. Come prepared for a long journey. It's not just going to be, hey, I want this and it's going to happen tomorrow. Very important, just as in life, do not litter along the way. If you're talking about other people bad or poorly, it's not only a bad example for others, but you're also creating a bad reputation for yourself. The way that you treat others is the way that others will treat you. And if you treat others badly, or if you are not performing well or dedicated to your job and your responsibilities, there might be consequences as well. Of course, take time for rest. I can't see this. So I did not rehearse my lines, that I know them by heart. Take time for rest along the way and take in the scene. Now again, looking at my example. Where's my mouse? Oh. Voila. The opportunities, like I said, drilling, that's what I wanted to do. However, I needed to first start with mining. That's the start of the studies, and then you only go into the specialization of drilling. At the beginning, when I started the studies, interns were not that common in oil and gas. And also, I remember somebody was saying at the time I was 18, oh, you're too young. Apparently, the insurance wouldn't cover me. Like, okay. The fact that I was a woman was also something. I'm like, well, the age we can wait, but the fact that I'm a woman, that will remain throughout my life. Therefore, I was like, okay, if I can't do internships with you guys, I will check where I can do internships. So in that case, I then went did the mining apprenticeship, and I went underground. Even though I knew I didn't want to work underground, but at least I got experience, and I could now use that experience in my later professional life. I'm not working in coal mines, but at least having a different viewpoint and knowing that there are other things out there definitely can help you to make your experience more colorful. About the opportunities we create. So very often, because I couldn't, let's say, for example, spend money to go to conferences, etc., well, I would simply apply to be the student helping at the conference. This way I got the accommodation and everything paid by the university. The conference attendance I got free because I was working at the conference. But this way, I still got what I wanted. I wanted the information from the conference. So I still made it, etc. And of course, this way, also sharing, for example, just like I do now, it might open up the door for somebody else who heard something. Or next time when I did an internship, for example, because I did well in my internships and people appreciated that there was an intern helpful, it opened up doors for others as well. Of course, you need to make sure that you have enough time, that you allocate enough time. A lot of people say that they don't have enough time. Actually, we all have the same. It's about what you decide what you're spending your time on and what you make time for. So just check. Whenever you say that you don't have time, is it really that you don't have time, or are you not allocating the right time where you need it? Like I said, for the reputation and the littering, just be aware, because if you're doing something not well, and the same goes especially with health and safety profession as well, they will judge us for everything that somebody else did wrong. That's of course not fair, but it is just how we humans operate, unfortunately. We were judged based on what we've learned, etc. For me, taking rest along the way and taking the scenery is, I heard, I can't remember what airline it was, but on one of the podcasts, I think it was a guy from the hotel in Dubai saying that there's a new term called bleisure, where you combine business with leisure, and that's definitely what I do. So, for example, also when I went to Abu Dhabi, I combined it with a day just for me. So I went to the Presidential Palace. But yeah, like you saw before, also taking the time of my leave to, for example, go sailing. Now, when things don't go your way, ideally, you have an idea. I love to brainstorm, and I think a lot of us in our profession do that too. But always be clear about your goal. What is it that you want to achieve? Identify if there are any stones that are being put in your way. Is it somebody who, for example, says, no, you cannot do it? Like for me, with, let's say the 18 not being able to insure you, that's definitely a stone. Can you find an alternative way? Or can you make it a stepping stone? Alternative way for me, for example, was that I found a different internship. Follow your own compass and enjoy your journey. That's the most important. Make the next step. So keep your eyes on the horizon. What is it that you want to reach? And identify new routes to that. Just because one door closes doesn't mean that all of them are closed. And finally, when you reach your goal, enjoy the moment and be happy about it. So if you look back, I said I wanted to work offshore, ideally as a drilling engineer or anything in the oil and gas business. That was my dream. Oil and gas downturn, 2015 is when I graduated, where that didn't work out. There were hardly any jobs. There were too many people that had a lot more experience than me that were equally put on the street and out of a job. So it was really hard to find something. However, same when I then found, okay, this is working. What can I do? That's why I focused on health and safety, because I was strong in health and safety, getting to the people and the connecting part. So I was like, okay, maybe I should focus more on that, because that's something that not everybody has. The own compass. I like to work with people. I can't remember if I mentioned it earlier. I think so. But the whole volunteering and the charity, etc., is basically also kind of how we approach safety. It's all about people. We want to help. Yes, we're being paid for it, good thing, but essentially we all want to help with what we're doing. I like to use the metaphor of the lemonade. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. It's a lot sweeter. And on this one, the puzzle looks like it's complete. I always say, whenever I get a new piece to the puzzle, it's actually just expanding my puzzle. It doesn't have an edge like this one has. It's just making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, enjoy it. Find something that you like. Treat yourself to whatever it is that you like, be that pleasure or a cocktail, etc. Now, personal recommendations at the end. invest in yourself. You are your greatest assets. Everybody talks of, a lot of companies talk about how people are the greatest asset. Of course, a lot of money is spent on your salaries, etc. But also for yourself, invest in yourself. Be that the vacation or the course that you want to do. Like I saw you have a few courses that you're offering as well. Check what you need and how much that investment, it might be a cost at that moment, be that money or time. But essentially, you are your greatest asset. Be true to your own values and beliefs. If you haven't already done, I definitely recommend to find your values. There are different tools out there that you can use for free to identify your values, and of course the beliefs as well, because you are the one who has to live with yourself every single day. You don't need to please anyone. You don't need to be comparing yourself to others. You need to be true to yourself. Another one that was a tip from a mentor to the young professional group that we had. She was saying, she was a manager, she was saying, don't limit yourself. Always ask the question and let others say no. Be that the new job that you want to apply, be that the new opportunity that you want to do. Don't say no, I can't do this, I haven't done this. Ask, check if you can do it, and let others say no. Then coming to the no, don't say no, just like when Bada asked me, hey, do you want to speak? Do you want to join our meeting? Don't say no to things you haven't done before straight away. Get uncomfortable. For me, I have to say this is not uncomfortable to me because I've done sessions before. Maybe the only uncomfortable part is that I don't know the ASSP enough that I know exactly who you are. But basically, people ask because they believe that you can do this. Basically, to sum it all together, be the way and create the purpose. The way that you are and are showing might be exactly what others need for getting themselves forward. And remember, now I can't see this again, you are the CEO of your own life. Promote and demote people or feelings or situations or objects as you see fit. If you are saying, hey, whatever I'm doing is completely draining me, not giving me a headache, see what it is and try to get rid of it, because this is not what you want. If you're always struggling with a certain, I don't know, with your car, maybe you should change cars. But see what you need to actually be happy, because essentially success, the whole presentation was about navigating towards success. Success is what you define as success. Nobody else defines what success is. And now I moved it again, the mouse is gone. There we go. I'm happy for any questions. Thank you very much for your attention. Obviously, I couldn't see any of you, so I was speaking to my screen. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if we're doing questions now or if we're doing it at the end with AI, because hey, AI is really cool.
No, ma'am. We're having questions for our finishing the session. Thank you for the brief information, mashallah. So let's have our questions. You can raise your hand. We'll unmute you so that you can ask your question. Or else you can post in the chat box as well. Mr. Abdul Khan, please unmute you.
Yes. Hi, this is Abdul here. Thank you so much, Caroline, for sharing your success path. It was quite interesting and motivating. I just have one question, like if you could share, a kind of a specific challenge you face in your success path and how you overcome. How did you overcome that, so that people will be able to handle such challenges? It is difficult to handle challenges than success. Thank you.
Thank you. Challenges. I think one that shocks a lot of people is, especially doing my internships. I know I go back to my internships quite a bit, but they definitely were challenging in that sense that a lot of people, and the same as offshore, but there I didn't notice it, don't think that women should be underground, that we are bad luck, we don't belong there, we don't have anything to do. So and that goes personal. They assume that you are out of place. So for that, I only can say, again, know what you want, who you are, not fight in the way, because that would only be It will not help the situation. But try to explain calmly, but also try to understand them. So listen to why they think that this is the case. Can they rationalize it and bring it down to what it really is that buzzes them, and why are the fears there? I think that was a good one as a challenge, because I remember there were people making nasty comments, making assumptions. I was, if you want, expelled from one of the companies in the engineer's office, if you want, because apparently I distracted them just by being there, even though I was not dressed inappropriately or whatever. But the next morning, the meeting was about me, apparently, how I interfered with normal operations. Sorry, guys, but outside in the world, you have women everywhere. So why can you not concentrate if I'm sitting next to you and simply doing my paperwork? So I didn't take it personal, and I simply tried to understand where they were coming from and try to accommodate as best that it still was in line with what I value and what I believe, but can accommodate the way that they needed it. Does that help?
Right. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering that. Any other questions from the participants? You can raise your hand and you can ask.
Now, I have a question, because I don't know you guys, and I only see lots of names that I'm not too familiar with. Do we have any ladies in the room other than me at the moment?
Good question.
Does anyone know from the names if we have any? Do you have any ladies in the ASSP Kuwait chapter?
Yes, we have.
How many, if I may ask?
Around 40 to 50 we have.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah.
For your information, we have a separate team, vice committee.
Very good.
For women.
Very good.
Women's excellence in safety.
Perfect. See, because I remember at some point I wanted to apply for a job after uni in health and safety in one of the Middle Eastern countries, not Kuwait. And I remember I spoke to the person at the conference, a health safety conference, and his response was, "Oh, no, you can't come and work for us. We wouldn't want you because you're not going to stay and you're a woman." I was like, "What? But who says I might not meet my Arabian prince or whatever? I mean, that's a judgment, huh? Who knows that? Why are you telling me that I can't be happy in one of the Middle Eastern countries? Just because it might be something that you think of doesn't mean that it actually means." So I think definitely it's nice to see that there are more women, and I was positively impressed when we had the pre-discussions for the panel, how developed and much more developed some of the Middle Eastern countries are compared to also Europe in terms of women and supporting diversity, etc. So well done, you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. There is a hand raised by our advisory committee member, Mr. Ashok Garlapati. Yes, sir, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Kashif. Thank you, Caroline. This is Ashok. I also work in drilling industry, take care of all the drilling operations with respect to HSC. I'm happy to see that you are also in the drilling side and looking after HSC aspects. So we are looking for some sort of a best practices to minimize the environmental footprint in our land drilling operations. So we are looking for such best practices. Maybe you can share now, or we'll connect with you after the call so that we can exchange some best practices.
Yes, I wouldn't be the expert because I'm no longer in drilling at the moment. Obviously, I have drilling background. In Europe, we are highly regulated in terms of environmental aspects and footprint. So I think that's definitely a first point of research. What does Europe do in that respect? And that's why it's super easy also for Europeans or European producers to follow those guidelines, and then you automatically kind of are on a very good side. But I can definitely reach out to my network and connect you with the right people.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time, for your presentation. We'll move to our next presentation.
Thank you.
So now I would like to call our Head of Energy and Sustainability Committee, Mr. Najas, to introduce second speaker of the evening.
Once again, good evening. Our next speaker is Mr. Paul Richardson, who is the co-founder of Connected Safety Net Company, which is having offices in UK and UAE. And as our secretary, Mr. Kasif, shown a safety moment regarding the AI. So now Mr. Paul is talking about AI, how artificial intelligence can support safety softwares or for the benefit of the humans. So let us have some words from Mr. Paul Richardson. Mr. Paul Richardson, welcome to ASSP Kuwait Chapter. Now the podium is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to share 1 second, if you give me a moment. Okay, so thank you for this opportunity. I'll probably just start with a bit of an introduction in terms of myself, because I know in the profile for me, it seems like I'm positioned mainly as technology. But my background, I spent 30 years in logistics and supply chain. I was a main board director in DPDHL for supply chain. So we had a lot of people, and I held a number of managing director roles, divisional director roles, where I had up to 50,000 people. So please don't think I'm just technology. My passion is absolutely about how you can use technology and techniques to improve the way you do things. But my foundation is from managing people. So I'd like to just share my story with you. As I said in my profile, I was the Chief Innovation Officer for DHL. I was on the main board for about 11 years. One of my roles there was that I was obviously involved in every type of emerging technology and how do you apply that into the operational field. And one of my biggest frustrations was the ability to get technology that worked for you. It was always you had to adapt yourself quite often to the technology. So I took early retirement in 2019 and set up this company called Connected Safety Net, because I've always had a huge passion for safety and wanted to find a way of making technology transformational for operations. And that transformation was more about making things simple. How do you use technology for all abilities, disabilities, non-disabilities, etc. So I'd like to think I've got a good foundation of people management and a responsibility and an ownership of safety that led me then into building what I'd like to think is one of the market leaders in digital transformation. So if I sort of just give you a little bit of the story, and then maybe at the end, you can ask me some questions about how we are, designing and developing what we're doing. So let me just, hang on, just getting my notes to work. Okay. So Connected Safety Net, as I say, it was born in 2019. I obviously spent my life in the UK, but being a global company, I spent a lot of time in lots of countries around the world. Connected Safety Net has got 2 trading businesses in the UAE, 1 trading business in the UK, and 1 in Pakistan. So I'm the group managing director, founder. We've got very good investors behind us in terms of what we're doing. And I'm just going to give you a 20-30 minute insight. I don't know how much time we've got, but you can cut me if I talk too much. But I want to talk you through some of the latest advancements in digitization compliance, focusing on how emerging technologies, like how you use older technologies like speech to text, as an embedded part of the way technology can be much more intuitive to workers, the use of QR codes on machinery to be able to give quick access to training material or compliance processes. And we're very excited that we've launched our connected AI solution that's really taken the benefit from that foundation of digitize everything. We call it a digital factory, what we've created. Literally, you don't need a coder to do this, but you can automate any process. Many of our customers are going well beyond safety compliance. They're using our product for all sorts of processes, but essentially you can easily, quickly build any manual process into an automated digital solution. And if you do that, then connected AI can really come into its own. And that's some of what I'm going to sort of share a little bit more about. So today's businesses are facing increasing regulatory requirements and the need to maintain high standards of safety compliance. But beyond compliance, there is a need for proactive risk management, identifying issues before they become incidents. And more so now everywhere around the world. I've seen here, I've now lived permanently in the UAE, and I can see the transformation that's happening here in this region around the need and the focus around making the workplace safer. So the need for digitization. So let's begin on the basics. So why digitize? If you are still relying on manual processes, whether it's paper forms, spreadsheets, or isolated systems, you're just wasting your time. You're missing out on valuable insights of data silos are inconsistent, reporting things like human errors, etc. This is how we can not just make the workplace safer, but make our businesses more profitable and more efficient in what we do. The future of safety compliance is digitized, integrated, dynamic. Digitization allows us to capture everything in real time. I mean, I go back 20 years, I see a lot of some of what we did 20 years ago, doing it today, but doing it much more efficiently, automating workflows that can save time and prevent costly errors. This doesn't just improve efficiency, it makes safer processes more reliable and robust. This is where Connected Safety Net has been sort of leading the charge. We've got some very prestigious government contracts in the UK, and some very large blue chip retailers that have been using our product for nearly 4 years. So the other thing for me is, let's think about how you keep things simple. And I love technology, and I've done lots of stuff with digital twins, robotics, vision software. But the problem is if you don't harness that data and integrate that data, that innovation is pointless, And so for me, simplicity in using technology is the key to success. For example, we've integrated speech to text technology directly into our platform. For many workers, typing lengthy reports and forms, this is something people don't want to do. They're intimidated by sometimes maybe their grammar. I'm not particularly good at it myself. I use speech to text a lot, especially in high stress situations if you're reporting an incident. So if you cannot report an incident with less than 30 seconds, then it's likely you're not going to get the true accurate understanding of what's happened. And so our technology is based around those metrics. Can you actually use technology and report detailed enough about an incident within less than 30 seconds? So I think that to me, those sorts of benchmarks are really important if you want to be successful. The other thing is, using the advancements of, QR codes in terms of the way that can hold so much data about machinery. We work for some of the big factories, and workers have to be specially trained to work certain machinery. and sometimes they may move from different machinery, and then they need a refresher on maybe some of the safety practices they need to be mindful of. And just by simply scanning the QR code on your phone, you can get all of that very quickly up and sign the fact that you've refreshed your understanding of some of those safety protocols that you need to be aware of. I think the thing that excites me the most is that where we have been very driven around simplifying and enabling a fully connected environment, so everything digitized, everything simply completely paperless. We've now developed our product called Connected AI, where we use Connected AI to be able to visualize all of your inspection forms, your incidents, your accidents, the frequencies of what happens in your operations. And it's incredible what it comes up with. You have to be careful. AI can get delusional if it's got the wrong information. So what we've done is we've isolated our Connected AI to individual customers' data. It only looks at that customer's data. So, for example, one of our aviation customers are using it for their MRO operations for aircraft maintenance, and it can actually predict, what's the likelihood of that aircraft, an A380 is coming in for service. Can it be turned around quick enough? Do we have the right equipment? Do we have the right safety equipment? And for you to do that manually is very, very difficult. And it's just incredible to see in a matter of seconds, AI can actually identify all of those aspects of your operation. Every business has incident data, accident reports, audit findings, risk assessments, but too often that data is, as I say, on spreadsheets, and it doesn't provide actionable insights. What's happened to my stop sharing? Why is it stop sharing?
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. Because it's only repeating, right? People having some doubt, so let it be.
Okay. They're having some doubts. Do you want me to stop then?
No, it's okay. Sorry for that. Go ahead.
Okay. So I just saw the whole screen just disappear. So
Oh, is it?
hang on a sec. What's happened? Okay. So for example, in certain types of incidents are more likely to occur during particular shifts and certain locations. And often that's because you have bottleneck in your operations and it's difficult to see those yourself. But essentially, through Connected AI, it's incredible the way that can identify those pinch points and understand how you can take action and be more proactive to prevent accidents rather than trying to react to things that are happening. I will need to share my screen again in a minute because there's some bits on my website I was going to use as part of my presentation. So I'll do.
Share, sir.
Okay. So we're already seeing fantastic success stories with many of our customers, and particularly here in the UAE as well. We've got some customers that have seen after 18 months, a 40+% reduction in incidents, accidents. That doesn't just happen on its own. And that's not just because of the technology, it's because of the intuitive nature of the product and the way that it doesn't matter what ability you have, anybody and everybody can use it. And as I say, these aren't isolated. We've got some amazing success stories also in the UK where the product was founded, and it's very, very interesting to see these operations 2-3 years later, and seeing the level of proactiveness you get from everybody. I've always said in high people intense operations, the ownership of safety is everybody who works there. It's not the safety manager's job. It's everybody on the floor, including senior managers. So, why are our customers choosing Connected Safety Net? Well, digitizing your safety compliance, first and foremost, it's about flexibility. We provide a digital factory where you can design, create workflows that are exactly what you do and how you do it, not the fact that you have to change your process because the technology can't do it. And if I just maybe if I can just share my screen again. Someone kick me off. Okay. Okay, if I just scroll down the bottom here, the diversity of what we do is what's important. And as I said earlier, that it's very important that you have a platform that can really cover the breadth of things that go on in your operations. So from incident near-miss reporting to customized audits and inspections to security. Security has a huge aspect over safety. Contractor management, often a very complex thing of bringing contractors on site. We've got a fantastic solution that interacts with contractors before they even arrive on site, making sure their permits are in place, their insurance is in place. So everybody is interacting with our platform. Maintenance and engineering. So, think about the engineering and the servicing of equipment. That has a bearing on safety. And if you can get your AI to be connecting with some of the trends on the performance of your equipment and your machinery, that can have a huge bearing on some of the data that you find from your safety processes. We won a UK grant was it last year, where for local authorities in the UK that many are facing a climate emergency, we've built a solution that enables them to be able to work their carbon footprint before their work starts, so they can make decisions that have a true impact to their operations. We've digitized all aspects of training into our apps and our modules. That makes it very easy for workers to upskill themselves and be, we call it a digital passport, but to actually want to be a platinum trained safety person that may not be a safety leader, but the fact that you're doing that can actually just improve your skills in your management techniques in what you do. Event management. So some of our construction companies are using our product to manage the crews, manage their vehicles going out, managing all the raw materials. So you can imagine all of that being digitized along with all your people processes, gives the AI a really good insight to what's going on. So yeah, I think that I'm just mindful of time. There's only 15 minutes left, but the purpose of my section was to really just give you a story of what we've been doing here in the Middle East and in the UK. These are the two areas really we focus, but we're very excited about many of the customers we're meeting in the Middle East that are so proactive and interested to make these things happen. We're in hospitals, we're in factories, we're in distribution centers, we're in retail. So in fact, we've just done a chain of hotels as well. So we've got chefs using our product and that as well. So, but I hope you found that interesting, and I'm happy to answer any questions. No questions?
Okay.
I've done
Thank
very
you,
well, didn't I?
Yeah. Any questions, dear participants?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a
Yes,
question.
yes.
I'm Ramana with
Please.
you, Mr. Paul. My question is, what are some common misconceptions about the use of AI in daily operations? Like some people are having misconceptions, right?
Yeah, I think you have to be very cautious with AI. Too many people are running too fast with it and starting to realize that it can have an adverse effect if not used in the right way. And that's part of why we've been very focused on making sure that we're clear about the data that AI is using to give you the indications and the answers that you're going to use, because it could have the adverse effect if it's giving you the wrong information. I think AI is getting better and better and better. You can see, the new versions coming out are just incredible. But you must not move away from what people are doing and how people are interacting. So I think that you have to have some guard around making sure that you're not actioning things that are not the priority, because as I say, AI is only as good as the data you feed it. And that's my issue with technology. If the data is not clean, if the data is not good, then there's a high risk that it will have an adverse effect.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now we have our advisory committee member, Mr. Ashok Galapati ji.
Can I have one question?
Yep.
How can this AI now current situations going to help safety at workplace?
Okay, so we've only just launched our connected AI solution. So we only use it for doing simple tasks such as what's the highest risk factors that AI is reading from all the inspections, the equipment data, and what have you, and then using that as a prompt to dig deeper. That means that we're only using our AI interrogation probably several times per shift, because at the minute for us it's more about optimizing the digital processes that are there. What will happen, probably our third phase of our AI solution, will be helping somebody manage an incident investigation. For example, at the moment, it can actually look at the reports that have been done and things are missing, like, let's say, witness statements are not there, etc. It can be very proactive to flag up that there are missing components to an investigation. And that's important, because if there are parts that are missing, then it's likely you're not going to get the true understanding of what's going on. So, but we only use it several times a day. I had a customer the other day said, look, I know about an incident that happened 6 months ago. Ask your AI this question. And within 3 seconds, it came up with the day that incident happened, who was the person, what investigations happened, what was the incident number, and what was the overall outcome. That was done in 3 seconds. That is the absolute power of AI, is the speed of which you can get at information. And one of the frustrations I had in my previous job is we had some of our safety team used to spend several days before a board meeting collecting safety data for us as a senior board to sit there and review it. And by the time we've got it, it's out of date anyway. So I think the biggest success that AI is doing at the minute is the speed of information and the absolute insight that it's giving you that you typically can't do on your own.
Is there any particular software for AI to correlate with the incident investigation report in our workplace?
Yeah, so we've built our own. We've got our own specialist AI database. So we're building our own because we need it to do something that is very, very unique in specific for safety. So there's lots of open AI solutions out there. It depends if you're doing deep AI learning or you're doing large language AI, but it's there is lots of options out there, but we're building our own basically.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yes, Ashok sir, you can ask your question.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Kashif, and Mr. Paul, thank you for sharing all the digitalization which is happening, and also to the specific to our HSC health, safety, environment field. I work for Kuwait Oil company, and every company is now trying to capture the digitalization of all the processes. Now, even we have our KPIs, key performance indicators for our management. One of the key performance indicator we have kept is adopting artificial intelligence applications for enhancing HSE performance, health, safety, and environment performance. So my question is, any resource you will find, or a white paper you will find on artificial intelligence applications for health, safety, environment field, something like that. You can throw some light on that, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, there's an awful lot out there that you can read that's going on. I would stress that you should all do your own research and be sure that the information is credible and it's got a good backing. Like there's a lot of white papers out there. There's a great deal of reading you can do. What I would say to you is it's not as complicated as everyone thinks it is. And it's actually, if you actually look at what we've done in Connected Safety Net, we set ourselves a task that said the problem is in innovation is people are innovating at a very high end and actually forgetting that actually the basics is where it starts. So we've started of having a very robust basics so that, any user of any for example, our apps, you can use English, Arabic, French, German. We've made sure that it's very, very usable. It doesn't matter what what nationality you are, what disabilities you may have. That's the starting point, in my view, before you start getting too advanced with digital twin technology. And hey, I see lots of the other AI types of solutions that are out there, but the problem is they're isolated and they're not connected to everything that goes on.
Correct.
What
Yes.
I would say to you, your AI journey should involve every corner, every aspect of your operations. If something's not digitized, then something somewhere is not going to be true into what you're looking at. So, but yeah, there's an awful lot out there that AI will tell you itself.
We understand. Yes. Yeah.
I'd be cautious and not. A lot of people are trying to run, in my view, before they can walk. And often I get clients come to me and say, right, we want your AI solution live within 6 weeks. And I say, well, forget it. Forget it. You've got to have a foundation of data capture that's robust. It's clean. It's quality. Then AI can really work for you. And we often say, look, don't even think about AI for 6 months until you've actually got that foundation right, and you're absolutely certain that everything is 100% clear in terms of what it's telling you about your business.
Understood. Exactly what you said. We are in the same situation, trying to do our own research. But I thought, okay, let me, being a subject matter expert in the field, I thought of checking with you. But thank you for your guidance, Paul, and we look forward for your inputs also as we progress. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. I've got 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. There is another question, as Madam Caroline had raised her hand. Yes, ma'am, you can ask your question.
Thank you. There are even more questions in the chat too. But since I had my hand up, thank you very much, Paul. Now, with new technology, I'm definitely up for trying it and so on. But I think a lot of people, like you were saying, they're running faster than they're learning to walk. How should we look at it from a risk assessment perspective? Like, what is the standard risk assessment for using AI in your business? What should our management of change process include when we want to include AI in our businesses?
Well, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I would start by doing a complete assessment of your operations and ask yourself one simple question. How much of your existing operations are truly digital? And if they're not, then that's the part of what you need to fix first. And every time I go into many operations and say, oh, we're digital, we've been digital for years. And I say, well, why is all those security processes being done on paper? Why is all this reception and security information for your vehicles in and out of your building being done on paper? That, to me, you've got to start by, we call it the digital factory. Start with a digital factory and say, every aspect of what you do should be digital. Even from an environmental sustainability point of view, you should be doing that at any rate. But I go into so many operations that say that we are digital and ready for AI, and I walk around and I can see so many pockets of the operation that's still got piles of paper. So that would be my starting point. Are you truly digital before you can start looking at AI?
Yeah, but what are the pitfalls of using AI? What are risks involved? What
Okay,
can there be?
one of the things you've got to be careful with AI, it can get a little bit delusional. It can overthink. And if you go, let me give you an example. If you go into GTP, and you ask it a question, and then you change one word and ask the same question again, it gives you a different answer.
Yeah.
And that's true in operations as well. And that's why you have to have very, very, so for example, we're building what we call a sort of barometer of very, very consistent questions that AI is answering so that it can't get itself confused. The other thing as well is that we are disciplined of saying the AI solution can only look at your data. We don't want it looking at, a parallel business's data, because they're not the same, and then it'll start confusing itself. So there are a lot of watch outs with AI, but my God, it is just amazing what it can do to guide you. And let me say, guide you in the right place. Quite often, it may not have got it 100%, but it's taken you somewhere where you never would have gone, and you found something out that can truly change the way you run your operations. And I've run operations for 30 years, and I can see the difference of what AI can do as long as you are careful in the way that you use it.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paul. It was really a great talk, actually, because I believe that I actually tried looking on the net about AI integration in health, safety, environment. And I have to say that, as you said, there are a lot of white papers, there's a lot of research, there's no one concrete solution that fits all. So my question is that, uh, as you see, AI is a dynamic system which is still evolving. Every day you see that, recently ChatGPT launched Strawberry, right, for AI. So the thing is that, let's say any organization is beginning to adopt this technology in a way to make it work easier. My question would be that, would the right approach be uh, learning about the constraints that need to be applied, so that the issue which is regarding hallucination, I think the term which is used is hallucination, where
Exactly.
where the temperature is relatively higher, so it becomes much more creative, and then it sways away from the root topic. So if somebody is trying to integrate that into the system, even at a very basic level, would they first focus more on the constraints, defining the constraints that AI should be limited to, or rather, as you said earlier, just focus on the digital part, and then decide that what part you want to automate using AI?
It's a really, really good question. People don't like my answer to this, but I personally think that the refinement of your digital processes and your automation is the paramount of what you do, and AI is just a tool. It's a tool to help you. Exactly the same as we extensively use Microsoft Power BI and getting your dashboards up and what have you. That's information. But so yes, I'm absolutely a great believer that it is the grassroots of your operations and how you digitize, because you can digitize incorrectly, that can again cause you problems. So it's those working practices, those disciplines that you've got in your operations or your process flows that you should focus on, and use AI as a tool to help you visualize what that data's possibly telling you. But if you're always going to look at the outputs of what that AI says is right, that's the absolute answer, then I think that's highly risky. And to be quite frank, if you digitize and automate your operations in the correct way, there isn't really a great deal for AI to do. You know, it can give you risk insights. It can tell you where your pinch points are. And I think they're all great indicators. Like, for example, if there is a, Tuesday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, there is a pinch point where too many operations are coming together in one go, you may not have seen that. Your operators tend to know on the ground, but managers don't tend to want to listen. But what AI can do is put the operator's view with the AI to say, look, we told you that 2 p.m. in that corner of the operation is a high risk area. So I think they've all got their place, but you mustn't lose sight of the fact the most powerful process you've got is the people that do the job, and the way the job is done. As I say, through digitization and not using archaic paper methods and what have you. I really disbelieve in that now. I think there's no reason for operations now to be using paper. And you'll see the efficiencies, you'll see the improvements just by getting the best working practices for your operators, and listen to what your people on the ground. Some of the best process improvements you'll find, it's not going to be through AI. It's going to be from listening to your workers and then empowering them to be able to do the right thing. So, but yeah, that's just my operational view of how you get the best out of these things. But let me tell you, some of the stuff we're seeing from our connected AI solution is definitely pointing us in directions that we would not have looked. And then you go and empower people to do something with that, to see how you can validate that what AI is telling you is true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for clarifying all the questions. So we'll move forward with our presentation, with our agenda. So
Yes.
now
Thank you very much.
I'd like to call, I'd like to call our Vice President, Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, for closing remarks. Dear Vice President. Mr. Yusuf, are you there in the meeting?
Yeah, go ahead, Kasif bhai. Maybe he's not there. His network
Yeah,
is.
thank you.
I'm
Thank
there.
you.
Hello.
Very good. Please
Hello.
go ahead. Yes, boss. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was not given this one for me to unmute.
Okay.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A very good evening to all of you. Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to propose a heartful vote of thanks on this wonderful technical meet. First and foremost, to myself, Muhammad Yusuf, the Vice President for this tenure, and the entire fraternity of ASSP Kuwait Chapter. Our sincere thanks to Almighty Allah for making today's technical event a grand success. So on behalf of ASSP Kuwait Chapter, I give a heartful vote of thanks to today's esteemed speakers, Ms. Kannwischer, for giving the detailed explanation on navigating towards success. Really, it was very interesting. And I thank our second speaker, Mr. Paul Richardson, for ensuring safety with artificial intelligence. Really, this is a very hot topic. We should make our business more safer and more profitable. This is the aim, and this every company needs. So the transforming compliances with advanced digital solutions. So everywhere, everyone is speaking about artificial intelligence. So mashallah, it is really hot topic. And within a year, we can see that the whole world will be using AI, artificial intelligence. So I would like to thank our head of the Energy and Sustainability Committee head, Mr. Engineer Najaz Abdul Kalam, for arranging such a wonderful technical meet on navigating towards success and ensuring safety with artificial intelligence. In conclusion, I extend my heartfelt vote of thanks to all of you, to our advisory committee, Mr. Ashok Galapati, Energy and Sustainability Committee, Core Committee, all the attendees from different parts of this world. Thank you very much. Good night.
1 minute, Yusufbhai. We are having felicitation to our speakers, virtual felicitation, you can say. So let accept our vote of our token of appreciation, Miss Caroline. Virtual felicitation, we can say. Thank you for your
very
time,
much.
for your presentation. Yeah. So this is your certificate. It will be sent to you, soft copy from our chapter executives. Please accept our token of appreciation. Thank you once again. Now our second speaker, Mr. Paul. Thank you for your time, for your presentation.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So, yeah. So thank you very much, dear participants, for your active participation. Inshallah, hope to see you in the next technical meet. With that,
Thank you, Secretary. Could you please give me a minute?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. There is a feedback link I'm posting in the chat box. Please click that one and give your feedback. Those who gives the feedback only are going to get the certificate of participation. Okay, it's our mandatory requirement as per the ISO. That's why we are doing this one. Please click the link which is there in the chat box and give your proper feedback. Suggestions and improvements we always welcome. Okay, whatever we are giving, whatever you are giving, we'll try to discuss that one and improve ourselves for the next technical sessions.
Thank you, Mr. Ramana. The link is in the chat box. We'll give you 2 minutes of time to submit your feedback, if at all anything is there. You can reach out to us on the mentioned email, a mobile number. You can visit us on kuwait.assp.org as well.
Yeah. Is it possible to open camera? Shall we take a group picture?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You can remove the slides.
Yeah, okay.
Spotlight is there. Okay.
I guess.
It's okay. Yeah. Okay, I request everyone to open your cameras if possible.
Good to
Okay,
see all of you.
If you are driving, don't open it. Okay, please. Smile, please. Hey, ma'am Carolina, we need to learn from you. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Still some cameras are opening. Okay. Okay. Some are opening, some are closing. Okay. That's enough. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you all in our next technical meet. Until then, have a safe work environment. Good night.
Thank you. Good night for everyone.
You can
Night.
close the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you.